killing the Sicilian dragon. The dragon variation is a fierce beast and it's feared by a lot of players, but recently white has scored very well with a very simple line, and I'm going to show you the line. I'm going to equip you so you can play it and beat the hell out of the dragon too. So let's get started. We will have to see a lot of games, so you will be able to meet all or most responses, most sensible responses. So here we go. And this is the dragon. This is the dragon. And of course, black is ready to fianchetto his bishop to g7. So you will put it here, right? And it's been said that this has been refuted many times, but it never really disappeared. And I don't think it is refuted with this line, but at the moment, black is under a lot of pressure. And I don't really know what to play with black. Okay, this is the Yugoslav attack. Of course, Yugoslavia doesn't exist anymore, but the Yugoslav attack still exists. I think maybe Yugoslav attack is with the bishop to c4, preventing d5. But we're going to play with the long castle first. So in this position, white has many options. The most common is bishop c4 or castle, but d4 is also an idea. But here we will concentrate on on castle queenside. Okay. Here black has two main options. He can play with bishop d7. That's probably not correct. It's a way to get a dragon game, but white seems to be way ahead in the race after g4. And he can play knight takes d4, bishop takes e4, and bishop e6. But the problem is, after this move, he will have to waste a tempo with this move and then play something like this. And compared to the g4 variation, white is simply a pure tempo up. And this line is clearly slightly better for white. Okay, so in this position, the clear main line is d5. And there's a lot of theory here. But recently, white has chosen a very, very simple approach. Of course, the idea with this setup is to exchange this guy with bishop h6. In the normal dragon, that usually is countered by some kind of an exchange sacrifice on c3, destroying the pawn structure. You will, if you look for games in dragon, you will see that as a common theme. But okay, this is the new idea. It looks kind of bad. And here, of course, white could take on d5 and win a pawn, but that has been known by theory to be fine for black. He will have to play precisely, but in the theoretical verdict is black is fine. He will get a lot of compensation with open files and strong bishops. But okay, this is the move that is causing black a serious headache at the moment. Very logical, exchanging the bishop, getting ready to attack with the h-pawn and simply going after the king. Black usually in the dragon has a lot of counterplay in the c file, but of course this is not the case here. But instead, he will have tremendous pressure in the b file. So what's going on? We will see some games from this position. The first one is very new. It's Grandelius versus Alexei Shirov from MrDodgy International Invitational 2, which was played here in the middle of May on Chess 24. And Shirov did what's supposed to do: take, queen b6. I think this is the main line where black is getting out of the pin and getting ready to attack. Seems very good. Okay, e5. You cannot attack here because white will just take. The king can run to d2. So here black goes here and h4. And this is simply the idea, just attacking. If knight takes, h5, and if bishop f5, g4. And all this is known theory. Rook b8 looks Very logical, attacking the pawn, and b3, and here black will have to take on e5 actually, otherwise he's lost. But after h5, white of course has a strong attack, um, and here he played queen c5, and it's already over for Shirov here, because after h5 he's simply losing. This attack is way too strong. There's nothing, you can take the knight, but then h6 g6 and you just simply will be mated. So he has to play g5, trying to sort of buy his way out, but white just continue the attack. Bishop here attacking h7. And it's kind of funny to see a strong attacking player like Shirov getting killed like this against the Grandelius. And here h6, threatening mate again on this square here, and he'll just go back. And okay, I think white could have played it more better, but the finish was kind of simple enough. Black's position is in practical game not very nice to play here. He doesn't have any kind of counterplay, and white's attack is just lurking around the corner. And yeah, and they took it to this ending, and it's a disaster for black. So and here of course he gave up because he's losing something. Anyway, this was a nice little game, and of course everybody was looking because it was strong players in a strong tournament. So now it's out. This variation into the dragon is real. This is serious. And then I started to, of course, do a chess-based search for the line and say, okay, what's actually going on here? And the thing is, this is, oops, I'll try to get the next game. Boom, boom, just a second. This one, I will not keep the game. The next one is Jordan van Forest versus Vasily Graf, and it turns out this bishop h6 was actually not a big secret in the top level, because already here in the Trophy Blitz La Raison Souriant in France, Napoleon actually it's called, white played it, and it was Van Forest who played it against Vasily Graf. So this position is what you will call the tabaya of the position of this variation. This is where black has to decide how he's going to play, and like Graf decided to not take, and white of course just continued, and we are almost at the same position here. And here Lagrave, he got scared because bishop takes h6 is actually threatening e5, and bishop takes g7, I mean, and h5, and it's just again great attack. So but here white is more or less winning because he can't take it. So you will open the h file, and white is already clearly better. So we'll not see the remainder of the game. We'll just say that okay, and please notice this trick. It's very important. He cannot take here because you just take back, and here there is a nasty check, and black is mated on g7 in the next move. So this position is basically, I think he played something like this, and here white is of course clearly better. This bishop is bad. We're just waiting to attack this pawn, and black has no counterplay on the queen side. So it turns out the b file is not so dangerous after all. Okay, next game. And this was probably when everybody realized this variation was for real. This was Nepomniachtchi versus Nakamura in St. Louis Blitz in 2018. And it's interesting to see, 2017, sorry, what Nakamura does against this line. Here he played queen b6 immediately, h4, and tries to avoid getting e5 thrown in. But after this move, white is already better. If he takes back, he will play h5. Okay, and here, okay, the queen is then out of of the show. So instead, he just take back his pawn. Notice that the queen does not have any options of attacking the knight, so it has to go back. And after this move, white is just better. He has black will. By the way, black will have to play this immediately. Otherwise, white will play h5, and it will be a disaster on the king side. And this position is just, I think white should play something like this here, and white is just slightly but clearly better. I think it's the better structure, it's the safer king. The game was eventually drawn. It was a blitz game. Okay, next game, and this is also very recent, from mid-May, and it's played in Ukraine, and it's Li Mingpeng versus Kislinski. And Kislinski is a well-known IM, strong player. And this was a real game, so not rapid or anything else. And he played here Queen A5, and this is also common. You choose between Queen B6, Queen C7, and Queen A5, or Rook B8, which I think is maybe a better option, but we will look at that a little bit later. So Queen A5, E5, attacking the knight. It will have to go. And this is the problem for black, because if you see here, why black's kingside position is without pieces, which is very unpleasant. Okay, and this is very instructive the way this game goes. So he takes back and h5. Something bad is coming. You can't play g5 because knight is hanging. H takes g6 is threatening, but okay, black can play this move, and if here, he will of course just take with the bishop and be happy. Okay, but what about g4? What's going on? Move the knight and the bishop, and I will take g6. And here comes a great move, and please keep notice, f6. Whoa, what's going on? The really nice and neat trick is that if white takes here, it's a disaster because of g5, and then knight is coming, and the queen is trapped. Uh-oh. Don't fall for this one. Please don't fall for this one. I say don't fall for this one. The queen, so after this, the queen have to go. g5 is actually a serious threat here, and followed by knight f7. So queen have to go. So it just goes back, attacking the bishop, and opening the h file, and attacking the knight. And well, it's the fun is over for black here. His king side is a mess. Threatening mate in one on this square. Okay, so rook will have to go. Check, check. Okay, bring all your friends to the party. In here, black hurries to get his queen into the game, giving a check. And we just said, bring all your friends to the party. Here comes another friend here. And after this move, I just go here. He's threatening this move, destroying the defense of the knight. And he's also threatening knight takes and rook e1, and also destroying the defense of the knight. And please notice that something like this will be mated in either this way, like this, which is kind of fun, or another way. So after this move, black simply gave up. He has no defense. Also, this move is a threat. Okay, we'll make it red. Anyway, okay, that was a nice little attacking game by white. Okay, next game. We're learning fast here, right? This was from 2019, Elvis against our great dragon practitioner who's retired from active chess but plays occasionally Margier Peterson. I won a game with white in the dragon against him, but he won a lot of good games, and he's considered a big expert on both the the dragon and the Maroxy, which is with the knight c6, and white gets to play c4. So we have this, yeah, and he chooses queen c7, which is another way to develop. It looks kind of weird, but it does prevent this move. So this is the idea behind queen c7. White, of course, has only one plan in most position. Plays h4. The plan is simple: h5, mating the king. h5, and here he just plays king b1, and this looks kind of weird, but he's preventing this check and saying that black doesn't really have a good move. He took here. This was a senior tournament, and white stroked with this move, and here comes all the fun. And black has just opened the G file, so getting ready to rumble. This is bad. He tries to this, and after this move, it gets worse. Check. Now this is looming. Rook here, and check, and here Magyar actually resigned, and it's mate in 2. I don't know if you can see it, but hint: the first move is queen takes f5, and then you could see if you can find the next move. So far, everything been going great for white. Just take on c6, bishop h6, exchange the bishop, move the h pawn, deliver mate. Recipe for disaster for black, right? Okay. Okay, now comes one of the critical lines, which is what I was looking at mostly when I tried to make this work for black. And you know the lines now. And take, and rook b8. Okay, why is rook b8 smarter than queen b6? That is because we don't know. We saw that queen b6, queen c7, queen a5, black simply couldn't decide. So why not wait? We know that the rook probably belongs on this diagonal tag, or this file attacking b2. This makes a lot of sense. So even though there is the pin here, which is unpleasant, white still not able to use that maybe. Okay, e5. You can also play h4, but I think this move, and here the normal plan with h4 here and h5, and this is a little bit better for black, because the queen is much better here and the rook is much better here, and black will get a tempo with this move. So after something like this, and here, and take, black can probably play queen b6, which is really annoying. Right? That was surprising. Okay. So, what's going on? Well, they will get an ending, and I think black is at least fine in that ending. So h4, I think if you use a cloud engine, you might get it to work. But instead, this Polish junior, Pavel Cheklov, found a great idea for white here, and I think he'd use the computer for it, because the next moves are all approved by Stockfish. So he plays rook here. What's going on? Okay, we see the point. There is a plan. There's a nasty plan. Rook h4 and deliver mate here. Whoa. So knight takes e5, rook h4 is just curtains. Okay, rook e8. Preparing to play knight f8, defending everything and saying, okay, I actually have a pawn more in the center, and by the way, I'm threatening this move. So what are you going to do about it? And white goes on e6. Easy, right? Takes, Bishop threatening to take here and bring in the rook with the check first, and it will be curtains call here. And here comes a really weird move. The thing is, black is threatening queen b6, attacking here and here. So, what to do about that? At the same time, it's also clear that if white just gets 2 moves, he'll play something like h4, h5, and black's king side will completely crumble. It will simply collapse. So white plays a weird move, rook a4, simply moving the rook out of the way. If queen b6, you'll just play b3. No problem. The king is super safe, and you're ready for an attack. Black played e5, h4, and here black sort of collapsed. But this position here, he has to play bishop f5, but after h5, white still has good chances to get a nice edge. And the computer says something like plus 0.44, which is a huge advantage these days. He played e4, which just loses. Take and okay, it's just crushing through, and the bishop is coming. And the thing is, the attack here is not going anywhere. It's not gonna, nothing bad's gonna happen to white. White's king is much safer than you think. So he opens for this one. Keep. Okay, I'll make it red. It seems to work every time. Queen b6. Let's just move the knight. And here, well. And check. So this was a great game by white. So to recap, remember, after rook b8, e5 and rook d4, but only against rook b8. Otherwise, you'll just go with your normal attack with h4, h5. And I think this plan is good. And the key point is to remember to, in this position, to play the very weird move rook a4, getting the rook out of the way and just getting ready for h4, h5. And preventing queen a5, queen b6 or queen a5. If you go b3, he will go queen a5 and get a little bit of counterplay. So rook a4 is really a good move. Okay, what to do with black? So what do the experts do? That's a good question to ask yourself. A good question to ask yourself when you see a line is under attack. So we will go to the next game, and this is where we'll meet one of the sort of experts at the moment and in the Sicilian Dragon, and that is Gawain Jones from England. Great player with an entertaining style. I think he would have become a little bit, he's a very strong player, but I think he would have been a little bit better if he had given up on the coffee house openings a little earlier. Or maybe now, I don't know. Anyway, after bishop h6, we have this position. We have seen bishop takes g7, we have seen rook b8, we have seen all kind of thing, and h pawn is just coming for black, and it's a very simple plan. Take the bishop, play h4, h5, great attack. Okay, bishop e6, just trying to keep control over the white squares without letting the knight being put in like before, and sort of keeping the center intact, not taking on g7, and maybe getting ready to take on e4 and exchange queens. So what to do here? And I think the simplest line for white is simply to take, and this is also, I think, the main line, and because the bishop is bad here. But of course, white is giving up the center. But the pawn is weak, and d4. And white, of course, still have some hopes to do this, because without the strong dragon bishop, black's king side is very, very weak. But after this move, I recommend, in the game, this is Alcina Leal against Calceta Ruiz from Marbella in 2019. White played d5 and later messed up. And the computer also liked d5 and just winning the pawn on d5. But I prefer queen d4. Of course, it's a serious threat here, and it's kind of unpleasant for black. G5 is threatening, and after something like this, I think white has great attacking chances here. It seems nothing bad is really happening on the queen side, and the pawn are just going. You're going to take and play d5. Rook b4. You just go to e5 with the queen, and also. So I think this and this is something you should probably study if you're going to play this opening with black. I think, or with white, with both colors. Anyway, this concludes this tour de force against the dragon. I think this gives blacks plenty of problems, and I think white is also, if you look at the database, white is scoring massively from this line. Thank you for watching, and if you're a dragon player, I feel sorry for you, but I know you will find a way. Thank you.